sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to let it roll out.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Frank and Candid on this Friday, TGIF as we say. Looks a little wet on the outside, but hopefully that will clear up at some point. And we got 4 days to look forward to. And it's got to work somehow, right? Hope we all have a good weekend. Hope we had a productive week. And all set for a safe weekend. All right, as usual, let's go to an item here in the news. A former U.S. Roman Catholic cardinal has been charged with the sexual assault of a 16-year-old. It's been going on since in the 70s. The cardinal, who was defrocked by Pope Francis after an abuse inquiry in 2019, now faces indecent assault and battery charges in Massachusetts. He is the highest-ranking U.S. Catholic official to face criminal sex abuse charges, according to the victim's attorney. The former Washington, D.C. Archbishop has previously said he had no recollection of any alleged abuse. In the new lawsuit, the cardinal is accused of groping and abusing the boy, who has not been named for years. According to court documents, first reported by the Boston Globe newspaper, the man alleging the abuse told investigators that the cardinal had been a family friend. He claimed one alleged incident took place during his brother's wedding reception at Wesley College in Massachusetts back in 1974. The victim said the cardinal led him into a room, fondled him, and following the incident, the priest allegedly told the man to recite prayers to be redeemed of his sins. In 2019, the cardinal was defrocked after an investigation into decades of sexual abuse allegations against him. He became the most senior Catholic figure to be dismissed from the priesthood in modern times. Sad. All right. It's a Friday, and as usual on a Friday, it's an open Friday. Throughout this week, we have been talking and discussing emancipation, what it means, and we talked about the whole idea of our emancipation and are we truly emancipated and all of that. Today, we will continue some of that. You feel free to call in and discuss any of that or anything else that's on your mind. It's Friday. I would hope that we stick to things that are of importance for the upcoming weekend. But let me recap the week for you. On Monday, we started off our emancipation discussion with are we truly emancipated? Other than the shackles, the physical shackles that we had, our ancestors had. How about our minds and our economics and all of that? We talked about the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, came into effect in 1834, but with true full freedom in 1838 on August 1st. On Tuesday, we had my friend Kalunji in here talking to us about emancipating ourselves, and he had an economic plan. Talked about cooperative initiative talking about buying local, eating local, owning your own piece of it, of a business. On Wednesday, Carla Astafan was in. She is a member of the St. Kitts Nevis National Reparations Committee, and they talked about what they're doing and what they're thinking about for as we celebrate Emancipation. And on Thursday, UE representatives were in studio and also talked about their plans for their gala and awards, Pelican Awards, that happens every year on Emancipation Day. Today is Friday, and we will continue. However, all the talk about emancipation, which is quite important, I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that on this weekend, we're also observing and remembering a tragic event that happened on August 1st in 1970. So, let's talk a little bit about that as we go in. Now, the MV Christina was launched on the 11th of June in 1959. At the time of its launch, the Christina was said to be unsinkable. However, 11 years after its launch, there was a tragedy in the channel. The disaster of August 1st, 1970 has been described as the single most impactful incident in maritime history of St. Kitts and Nevis. It claimed the lives of 233 persons, predominantly Nevisians, when the ferry sank on a journey from Bastia to Charlestown. 90 passengers survived the ordeal. Some are still alive today. The remains of the ferry itself rest at the bottom of the channel, just off Nag's Head. For several years now, one of the survivors, Captain Skeet of the MVC Hustler, has taken the time to interrupt one of his morning journeys between the islands on the anniversary date to place a wreath in the spot where the vessel now sits. Captain Skeet, we salute you today for your continued efforts in remembrance of this sad day in our history. How difficult it must be each year over these 5 decades to reflect at this time on an anniversary that really should have never happened. I am saddened that as a nation, we have complained that St. Kitts Nevis has not done a good job of remembrance for those who lost their lives. While the successive administrations in Nevis have established a tradition of a memorial service on August 1st, and will do so again, for some reason or unknown, the administrations in St. Kitts have not found it necessary to dedicate time and effort to pay similar tribute. Nevis has erected 2 monuments. One such monument erected at the Bad Cemetery in Bad Plains on Nevis. This was erected by, it was an undertaken by a group of civic-minded persons with some major assistance from the Nevis Island administration, and with additional help from the private sector and members of the public. And as we approach another anniversary, still none has been completed anywhere on St. Kitts. The site at Springfield Cemetery, where bodies were buried in a mass grave, has since been used for other burials, lost as a proper site for a memorial. There is, however, some good news for the future here in St. Kitts. As we speak, a monument is being erected on Port Zante, near the spot that was the original passenger pier used by the Christina. There are lessons learned from the tragedy, including the introduction of a code of safety. Ferries must now have an accurate record and count of passengers and crew traveling on their vessels. Inspections of maritime vessels are done to ensure they have adequate life jackets on board to satisfy the number of passengers they take to and from, just in case. The number of passengers a vessel can take is clearly marked on the vessel and is never exceeded. Each vessel must be operated by a competent and certified operator and crew. So this weekend, as we celebrate the holiday that is Emancipation Day, an important one, in the remembrance of our ancestors freed from slavery on August 1st, 1838, let us also remember those ancestors who lost their lives on August 1st, 1970, in what we know as the Christina disaster. So what do you remember about August 1st, 1970? What was your own experience, own recollection, and how do you plan to observe Emancipation Day this year? And let us talk about all of this as we move into this all-important weekend in our history. We will take a break. When we come back, 465-2555 and 718-577-2916 are the numbers to use to join in this conversation about Emancipation Day and the Christina disaster as we move into this holiday weekend.
Refresh and win $10,000 cash with Coca-Cola. Yes, you could be the lucky winner of $10,000 cash when you enjoy a 591 ml Coca-Cola Original Taste or 591 ml Sprite. Look under the special yellow cap to find your unique code. Promotion runs May 21st to August 13th. Terms and conditions apply. See press and in stores for details. Coca-Cola, open for better. Please follow all COVID-19 protocols when redeeming prizes.
All right, welcome back to Frank and Candid on this Friday morning. A little damp, but we're happy it's Friday, right? Okay. This is a weekend where we're heading into double celebrations. Plus there's Culturama. Scale back some. Celebration of culture. Christina disaster. Sunday. August 1st, 1970 remembrance. And so we will get your take this morning on your own recollection, what your plans are for the holiday, and all of that. So let's go to the phones. Say good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yeah. Good morning, Tony.
Hey, good morning, Graham.
Happy Emancipation Weekend.
Okay, same to you. Thanks.
To you. And I think the best way to celebrate this weekend, Emancipation Weekend, for me, drink what you can drink, but don't overdo and don't get drunk and act stupid. I think this is the time for us to lay back, cool out, relax, rewind our mind, and look at what those who perish in whatsoever it was. Think about them, and imagine if you were there, how you would have feel. Mm-hmm. So that, I think we should do that, rather than get drunk and stupid and create problem.
Okay.
Now, Tony, according to what you read out there, one of the things you read out about the Cardinal, the priest. I think it is high time now for all them priests who've been doing this anti-man foolishness for years. They've been causing the church that they belongs to be sued for nonsense they've been doing to little boys. I mean, what fun they get out of man? Eh? The best thing that God make on this earth after he don't make the earth and he make man is woman, and he make woman for man to enjoy. Man, look, I don't understand, hear me? I think they should do something serious with these men when they catch them doing this foolishness, instead of take our frack alone, defrack them, bang them, expose them, and castrate them, since they don't know how to use the organ. Fooling around with our kind of little boy bomb and cars in the church and to get lassoed. This is also disgraceful. When you see somebody who go out and say, well, okay, I'm a Christian, I'm representing Christ. They're supposed to walk in line with Christ. Don't slip up. I mean, even if you slip up, you come back in line. But when a Christian go out and tell a lie, the only people don't forget that. Because they don't expect Christians to tell lie. They don't expect them to do it. So when a Christian come out and tell a lie, that's a serious thing. When a gambler man with the two dice and he rabble rousing and he living up to the wall, he ain't proclaim himself as no Christian, and he tell a lie. You say, man, he's a good lawyer, but that ain't stand out look when a Christian tell a lie or when a Christian do wrong things like them do. So I'm calling on all those who come out and bang them out and say, well, I'm a Christian and this and that. Live what you talk, man. Live what you talk. Don't talk and tell lawyers, so, well, I do this and that and nothing happened and this happened. Come on, people. Sensible people listening, and they could analyze and assess for themselves. So be careful when you're going to deliberately open your mouth and tell a lie just to convince people that you're so righteous and truthful. Tony, enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Okay,
thank you very much.
You're the same. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello, speak to Tony.
Yes, speaking. Go ahead. You're live.
Tony, this is Sonny Boy in New York.
Yes.
Brother and Jam Down brother. There's a guy who like to talk about Pan-African. I don't know his name, but I don't want to call no name. I live in America, and I interact with a lot of Africans. A lot of Africans don't like black people from other countries. I have run-in with them in the United States. They tell us that we were slaves and we was this and we were that. And I just want him to know, he always talk about Pan-African. A lot of African people don't care nothing about our black people in the Caribbean and black people in America. Because they right here in America and they think they're better than us. And one other thing I want to mention, Tony, I lost my cousin on Christina. And that's his stepmother. Died on Christina. And his mother was named Peps. She's my cousin.
Okay.
Dumpling cousin and Jam Down cousin. When Christina sank, the United States Coast Guard came from St. Thomas to St. Kitts to be part of the rescue. That Coast Guard cutter was so fast, it got to St. Kitts within hours. Them in the rescue. Mm-hmm. So when these guys in St. Kitts and other countries criticizing America, America is not a perfect country, but America do a lot of good too. And the last and least thing that I'm going to say, the most famous person from St. Kitts and Nevis is Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers of the United States. And a lot of people in St. Kitts and Nevis don't know that. He's on the $10 bill. And he was instrumental in creating the first bank in the United States. He was Secretary of the Treasury, and he was a general in the Union Army during slavery. So a lot of the kids need to be educated about who Alexander Hamilton is, and he was born on Nevis. And he's a very famous man in these United States of America. So my contribution to today, Tony, is a lot of people back home don't know the real history of America, of the United States, and they need to learn it. And thank you, Mr. Nice, and have a good weekend.
All right, thank you. You do the same. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nice.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
You're good.
Well, I listened to you outlining some stuff in the news, but unfortunately I didn't hear you outline the situation with our passport, where St. Kitts and Nevis' name was called on CNN. I don't know if you saw that clip, but you see, it's interesting, a very, very interesting turn of event is going on. And some people now don't want to talk about it. We talk about Magadam, we talk about the Dominica passport with Douglas and all of that. That was very important, but I think this one here, to me, is hitting home. Because I can remember a lot of people tell us that the passport that the man has, he married to a Kittian. Now we made to understand the man got the passport fraudulently. So why all of a sudden, where is the foreign minister, Mark Banley? Why is he so quiet? Why is our leader has not come to the nation to tell us anything concerning his passport? Why is not on ZIZ News? This is not no, when I said Douglas doing propaganda, this is a serious thing. And concerning, you were talking about the Christina. You know, it's unfortunate the incident that happened. I mean, I hope that, as you say, something will be done You know, I think the problem I have with us in St. Kitts, we don't like to deal with our history. But I also hear you talking about to do with workers' rights and all these things. Emancipation Day. Are we really free, Mr. Nayas? This is the question we need to ask in ourselves. Are we free in St. Kitts and Nevis? That's the major problem. Have we had rights in St. Kitts and Nevis? Because you see, a lot of us speak and forget. Some of us defending wrong when it suits us. But yet we're going to say free. But there's a massive problem going on in St. Kitts at the moment. Some people didn't take a vaccine and it's okay. Nobody cares to lose a job or not. So would we call that free? This is what people fought for? What the rights? What the rights are equal? And the excuses, well, the business have the right to go wine in the place. We understand that. But let's remember that Mark Brantley went to England to speak on the Windrush. And he got a massive applause from everybody in this federation. Most people. Great leadership. Great foreign affair. Because England was saying this is our country and we could put in and put out who we want. And Mark Brantley think that was wrong. But in St. Kitts today, the same way the company saying we could put in and put out, Mark Brantley don't think that is wrong. So are we really free? We listen to a lady down in Ross speaking to a guy from in the States. If you don't vax, you don't have a job. Are we free? We have been pressured. We ain't committing a crime. But some of us defending them, we say it's politics. And we must remember some people who ain't take the vax is labor, some ain't take the vax is unity. So are we free? Based on what you're saying on Emancipation Day Monday, are we free, Mr. Robin Nayas? Is our leader is helping us to be free? This is the question, because remember the word on the mic. This is where we have to go. Everybody got a vax. And up to now he has not come back to say bye. Let us find a way to deal with people. Let us find out how we're going to go forward to deal with the pandemic and the citizens of this country. Because you could walk in somebody's company and they ain't vax. But you got the COVID and what? It could still spread. So how are we really dealing with the situation? Not let people have a choice. The key thing is everybody put on a mask. Everybody sanitize. Who want to take it officially go and take it. And Mr. Nurse, we've been prostitute. This is back in the day. You don't take it or else. These are the talks. But some people don't want you to talk. Mr. Nurse, I'm going to talk. Because 20 years from now, a lot of us forgetting, our children, would they have a right to speak on something if they don't feel what is right for them? Are the same companies going to say, hey, they have nothing to say, sit down, hush. This is how we go, otherwise go home. This is the trend we're setting, Mr. Nice, for our children. People fought long and hard, as you said, Emancipation Day. The Buckley's riot, they fought for our rights. Bratcher fought for our rights. But all of a sudden, my body does not become mine anymore. Everybody become God. And you can't tell me if I take the vaccine, 10 years from now, what would be the outcome of my body?
Okay.
Mr. Knight, you have a lovely day.
Thank you for your input. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Mr. Naya, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you know in America now, the president, nobody at all who ain't vaccinated who do a government job, all of them have to be fully vaccinated? I wonder if the caller know that. You know? And he like to talk about Mark Ranky, what they do. How come he don't talk about what he leader do? He leader do things too. Every time he leader them do things, he mute himself, you don't hear him for months. Something happened in that airport. How come he don't talk about that? I was talking about Mark Ranky and the Prime Minister and this and that and all kind of thing. I don't like how they deal. I must be fair. And everybody gonna talk how they feel. The right man. Come on. Mr. Nair, that's all I got to say. You hear?
Okay. Thank you for your input. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Mr. Nair.
Yes, sir.
I am in St. Christopher and Nevis Miss. Timothy Harris, when he was speaking about the weed, I could play the clip for you, said we don't have to do what the outside world do. We don't have to take no stronger. When Douglas was in power, my friend, we had crime, Jamaica had crime, Antigua had crime, St. Thomas where we had crime. You know what we say? We don't want to hear about nobody else. What happened in America has nothing to do with me. My friend, I'm in St. Kitts. I have a leader supposed to represent me in St. Kitts. And let's go back. We agree that Dougie did wrong, and we're not running from that. That is fact, miss. There's certain things he did wrong, we agree. But are you saying you justify what Dougie did wrong today? We have a leader. We have somebody who's supposed to be carrying us forward. That's the problem we're having every day. So Doug is supposed to come in tomorrow at Congress and do the same stupidness, and I'm supposed to say Timothy Harris did it too? Miss, let us get away from that. That's what we're saying. Let us be honest. Timothy came to the nation. We're going to change Dougie stupidness, and we agree. Now you come to call the radio to tell me Dougie did this and Dougie did that. So guess what? So we're supposed to allow our children to do the same thing. Join the gang, kill people, don't try to change our children. That's what you're saying? My lady, we have to change the whole landscape of the politics. Because Congress cannot get into government tomorrow or Dr. Joe and be the leader and tell me what is crook. That Timothy Harris did the same thing. I'm going to bang it down. That's what we keep doing every day. So how are we going to take 10 steps forward? What he's saying, what Dougie do? Timothy came in power, miss. You are banged on Dougie and was good on the back of them. If he was true or not, you banged on Dougie and his Dominica passport. He didn't keep it, and that was good.
Okay.
So today you're telling me, Mr. Robbie, I'm supposed to accept what is going on today.
Got you. All right, listen. Hold on. This is a Emancipation weekend, and let's calm it down here, and forget the back and forth. We got the points made by all. Let's move on. Emancipation Sunday.
Tony.
Yes, go ahead.
The caller make a point, and then Jackie come and she make a point, and then who bring up the back and forth? Is he?
All right.
I want to tell you something, Tony. Tony, I got all what happened on Calypso. I just waiting for a musician accompaniment with them Calypsos, and you're going to hear what's going on. Mark Brantley ain't here to defend himself. Like calling a Mark Brantley show Wednesday night and tell Mark Brantley what he got to say. That is not fair to Mark Brantley.
Okay.
And he talking about fairness.
All right. Let's go to another caller. Let's see if this caller wants to talk about this weekend. Good morning. Welcome.
Good day, Tony.
Good day.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Now, you made a statement with Christina there, and how many passengers you say you had?
Well, let's say 233 died.
Okay.
90 something survived or something.
Yeah, you know how much Christina was built to carry?
I guess it's less than that for sure. But
160 people.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wow.
So the matter and the fact remain is greed coming somewhere there and stealing, because you can carry 200 and something tickets sold on Christina to the government at the treasury when the Christina only supposed to carry 160 people. So the money was going somewhere else, but it happened, so he ended up in the sea.
Okay.
You know, so there is sometimes when people don't obey the maritime laws, that what does happen.
Yeah.
And the whole trouble about it, you remember when the Prime Minister said that now it's 51 years now since Christina sank.
Right.
Right? And the Prime Minister make it the effort to put a museum down here.
Right.
But somehow or the other, at the last moment, it stopped. And it, to me, practically finished. You know, but I don't know why the reason it stopped, what the case may be. I hope he ain't sink. You know, but
No.
the problem about that, they had a one up in the burying ground, and now they're burying people in there. No respect.
Yeah.
You understand me? They dig up the ground there and burying people in there and so on, in the mass grave what they had there.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll get over it, you know, because
Yes, we will.
Christian and New Region, they're strong people, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so God bless you. Have a nice weekend. And if you remember Christina, be careful going over to Nevis.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Anne. God bless you, my beloved African brother. How are you, the family?
We're all doing well. How about you?
I'm good, man, and the clan is good. Now, my beloved brother, when I hear people talk things, I don't want to really get into no things there, because this is a weekend, right? God must pay tribute to our great African ancestors. But when I hear people talk about the guy named again Hamilton, my brother, was writing, help write the U.S. Constitution when our people was enslaved, shackles on their hands and feet. And you all know, beloved. So when you talk about the liberation of African people, Hamiltonian had nothing whatsoever. He was with his kiss and kins. End of the Caucasian race in this country, beloved. But that's utter nonsense. Yeah, and I was born in Nevis, but he ain't got nothing. Now let me deal it with Bradshaw. Bradshaw didn't free African people. He was part of the St. Kitts Trade and Labor Union, and he had many great men and women greater than him. You don't hear nothing about them. But look at it. Bradshaw, Burnham, not Burnham. Burnham came a little after. And Bowen, all of them, right? They help, think they're people, but when they done, the same thing and even worse. I mean, not enslavement, like, during our enslavement. But they unleash Bradshaw, deal with Bradshaw unleash terrorism and his political opponents and the Rastafari movement. I was a victim of that. Nobody can dispute that. So don't come and glorify Bradshaw. Bradshaw was a dictator, like Bird, Baron, all the rest of them. And look what Bradshaw did. No African woman was good enough for Bradshaw married to. Let me move on now, beloved. See, we got to give praises and thanks and tribute to our great African ancestors every day. Not when February come. Not when African liberation they come. Not when emancipation they come around. No, every day. You can't be a February Pan-Africanist, May Pan-Africanist, August Pan-Africanist. You got to be a Pan-Africanist every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every year. 366, 365, 366. These camouflage people, beloved, who espouse Pan-Africanism and they're not ready yet. They only do weird that chic and them things with certain time, beloved. Utter nonsense. Camouflage, man. Camouflage, beloved. I don't have no monopoly on anything. Right? Not even Pan-Africanism, because even way before I was born, when, over a century and a half, Pan-Africanism, beloved, was thing they had brothers, the brother, great Pan-Africanist, Wilmot Blyden from St. Thomas in the U.S., St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. They're not even the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Virgin Islands, beloved. Supposing that, beloved. So, we got to do the right thing, and the school, we still got the same miseducation. In our school, the country, an African country in terms of its population, I'm sure about between 95 98% of the population of St. Kitts Nevis is African peoples. And looking at that crap we have down there. Stamos Warner thing there. Warner Park. All over. All those monuments of oppression still there. Mr. Prime Minister, Dr. Harris and the cabinet and the people must demand all of these things must be changed, especially young people, beloved. So let me call again on our young people, because the people over 50 years, they're going to just stuck in their ways, most of them. 90% of them are more going stuck in their backward ways.
All right.
And they're going to change. So call upon my young people, take up the mantle of Pan-Africanism, beloved sister.
All right. Thank you. Got a caller?
Good day, sir.
Yes, good day.
How is Mr. Nias, man?
I am well.
And I wish you a very enjoyable weekend.
So do I. And you too.
It's a bit long. I hope you don't get too bored.
No, man.
Two things, really. I may run into three. I'll be brief. Not like some of those other people. I think it was the second caller, some guy from the States. I didn't get his name properly. He expressed the same sentiments that I had expressed on many occasions on this radio station pertaining to the relationship between Africans and Caribbean or Western persons and ancestors of slaves. He got up and said that they look down on us. Basically, that is what he said. And I've said that many times from my experience in England, going to in colleges with them, actually sharing a room with an African in one of the colleges I went to. So I'm not surprised. They have, as I always said, they treated us. They saw slaves, the persons who they sold. Nobody thief them. They sold. They treated the people that they sold were considered dregs, the dregs of Africa. Many of us will say, "Oh, we love Africa and things." We love Africa from a distance. We're not going there to feel it. For one. Next thing, Christina disaster. In 1970, after the disaster, unfortunately for those families who lost loved ones, there was an organization, a committee set up to manage a fund to make contributions to families who had suffered loss. The fund, I think, was managed by William Doe, and it was set up by the then Premier Robert Bradshaw. I don't think anybody got a cent out of that fund, and I know many countries, including Britain, contributed to that fund. Many business places, individuals contributed to that fund, so there must have been quite a sum in there. But no accounting has ever been made about how much money was in there and where the money has gone to. Maybe it is time for some investigative auditor to start going back through the books, though it might be difficult, to see exactly what happened back then and where has the money gone to. But I believe that there are few people infected out of the deaths of the hundreds of persons from St. Kitts and Nevis who perished on the Christina. I won't bring up the third one just yet, but I suppose I should, let me leave it there. See? This is a good weekend. This is a happy weekend.
Okay.
Let me not spoil it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, Brother Tony, Brother Nabu again. The brother just before me. I always hear him spew this thing about when he was in college or university in England. I like to ask him, when he was up there, how many Caucasians did think Minister racist utterances and treat him in a racist way? Listen, he got idiots in every race. You got haters, self-haters in every race. So you want to tell me, if a sister from any other place, right, do me something wrong, say, on the African continent, let me say Ghana. I had a bad experience with a sister, a couple of sisters from Ghana, Africa. I gonna say all the sisters in Ghana or other places on the African continent are no good? Utter nonsense. And when I hear some people, right, who's supposed to know better, but you see common sense, my beloved. You could get all kind of book education, miseducation, and then got common sense. You know, when I hear this thing, and I've been hearing this thing from since I was a child, my best friends, them brothers, beloved here in New York, his brothers and sisters from Africa, right around the block here, to buy stuff from them and all kind of things. Sometimes the reason about the great Pan-Africanist Kwame Nkrumah. So this nonsense, you're going to run into all kind of idiots in the African race, beloved. So, you know, I don't hear them, this nonsense that they are spout, oh, this and then like us and all. That's just utter nonsense and foolishness. And it's time we put the nonsense. I'm not saying if you experience something, don't talk about it out there. You know, but if you got you one experience or two experiences, I don't hear nobody come here and talk about the experiences. Most of them, 99.999, whether they had it Caucasian, whether in St. Kitts Nevis or any parts on the planet. Come on, man, love yourself. Wake up, African people. But I know someone else wants to speak, so let me say in closing, happy Emancipation Day to my African people.
Whoa, what we got? What happened? Oh, yeah? Okay, I think we just had a short drop there and pause or something. Caller, you there?
Yeah, Mr. Niles.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
I just call you with your happy weekend, man. And all the best to you and so on.
All right, well, to you too.
I want to cut out some of this thing here, too. People just a call back who answer people like a neighborhood music.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You know, it ain't good.
Yeah.
Some of them, if you don't have nothing to say, don't come back who answer nobody.
Yeah.
They step up the love up in man them. England and America, they have strong love man. Man has strong love one another. They come answer me. See you.
All right, well, you know, people have their experiences, and there's nothing wrong with talking about the experience you have had. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Calling you live.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead. You're live, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, how are you, man?
Good.
Okay, you heard what that gentleman just said about the fund that was set up to take care of families who was affected by the Christina disaster.
Yes.
You know, look how much years ago that was. And, you know, persons are calling for integrity in public life and transparency. It ain't happening since then to now. It ain't happening. If you as a politician don't have it in you, it's not going to happen. You know, a fund was set up and the victims didn't even get 1 cent out of it. You know, but I technically wanted to ask that question, but I got my question answered. You know, so those people that was affected in that tragedy, they got no help. They got no help from the government. You know, that was a whole bubbleness that was going on with Christina, but people don't want to call it for what it was. But you know, that's why we can't move forward as a people sometimes. But anyway, man, I want to acknowledge 2 of my family members that was under Christina, Livingston Sergeant and Lofton Sergeant. I want to acknowledge them both. You know, and I thank the Lord for sparing their life that on that tragic day. And also another person in the village where I'm from, Ozzy Tyson, they're in Cotton Ground. I want to acknowledge him as well. And, you know, I just want everybody in the Federation to enjoy the Emancipation weekend and just remember the Christina disaster and remember what this weekend is all about, Emancipation Day.
Okay.
All right, man. That's my contribution. Thanks, man.
Thank you for that contribution. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Niles. Good morning.
Good
So, I'm a long-time listener here, just first time calling in.
Welcome.
I just want to put something here out there, but looking at the Emancipation weekend and all this thing coming up and about, you know, African liberation and how it relates to us here in the Federation. Now I look around Bastille, and I'm going to stop right there in Independence Square, which was Pall Mall Square, and as we know, historically, was known to be a slave market. Now, when you look in Pall Mall Square, there's nothing that says anything that shows that the history of what happened in that area. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have have a full big monument in the middle, a Victorian style monument that to me that says nothing about the past, what we are as a people. And I think there should be something, that should be replaced, something of significance, and a monument, a memorial, whatever. There's if I'm not mistaken, there was a little monument or some other stuff to the southern side as well. And these things could be replaced and put up, put something of significance that tells a story. There's one there at Baker's Corner as well.
Right.
We don't know where these things are. We know that the people who put them there was telling their story. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Berkeley, the memorial, Berkeley Memorial, right, in the middle of the circus.
Mm-hmm.
That was put there to commemorate Mr. Berkeley contribution to whatever he did. So he was a part of the legislative council back then. But I'm not saying to replace that memorial there, but just to show that the people who was the colonizers told their story. And we have to now be civilized enough, educated enough to know that we can't continue looking at that picture and framing our future. We have to, be smart enough to just replace the stuff. I mean, here in America, they have what you call the cancel culture. It's going on all around because people in the southern states realize they're looking at monuments of the people who was trying to enslave them. And that doesn't take well to people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So after a while, we have to replace the stuff that the people who had that type of agenda. We have to change. And bickering between one another, we just have to make a common sense agreement to certain things that benefits everybody. So that's my contribution. Like you sure, I listen all the time, sometimes just on replay, but, continue doing the good work, my brother.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate the time.
Sure, no problem. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning.
Yes. Just first to say that I don't know why some folks continue to denigrate Sir Robert Bratcher. Nobody is perfect, but under his administration, you had education reform in the 1960s, you had the agricultural reform in the 1970s with the nationalization of the sugar estate lands, you had the central bank coming here from Barbados when Barbados pulled out, and you had the Social Security institutions set up. These are what have underpinned the work, the growth and development we have today. There's no question about that. So I'm not sure why that is not recognized. But moving on, Emancipation Day. I'm happy to see that that is being recognized again. It comes and goes. Some years ago, I wrote an article on this, a public article on this, and I understand that the Heritage Foundation, the Heritage Society here, took that up, and based on that, the government, they petitioned the government to have it recognized as Emancipation Day. I think many, many years before that, it used to be taught in school, as I understand, but then it fell, and then it came back up. And so it was recognized as Emancipation Day. And that's a good thing, and I'm glad that we might recognize it. I hope it could be sustained. Mm-hmm. What I would say, linking that with reparations, we have to be very careful. Yes, we know that the native persons here, they were really eradicated more or less through three main things. Through work, how the Europeans made them work in that system, that kind of way, which they were not accustomed to. Not that they were not hard working, but the way that the Europeans, basically enslaved them in a sense. They also died from the diseases the Europeans brought. I think smallpox was one. And then they had the massacre at Bloody Point. And my mother told me years ago that she was quite young when the last Carib people left St. Kitts for North America. At the end of it, we have to say that our ancestors, they worked and they gave their blood, sweat, their tears, and whatever else, and all their toil. And we have now inherited this land. We were not responsible for the eradication of the Amerindians who were here. And with all the reparations and everything they're talking about, we have to be careful that we do not disinherit our own selves. That's very important. Whatever we do, we recognize here, we recognize there. Do not do things that would disinherit ourselves. That's more all I would say on that. Christina disaster, that's my final point on the Christina disaster. This was a very traumatic situation, of course. My husband lost both parents and his youngest sister. 3 at one blow, or in one blow, whatever that expression. And it was very traumatic and stressful for him at the time. It has always surprised me that we had no memorial. And it's even sad to hear that where that mass grave was, they just kind of ignored it. And, over many administrations, it would seem, and buried other people on that. That should have been used as a memorial site in some form or the other. There's a memorial there for a flood 100 years before that. And there's a memorial site for there. So I'm glad to see what is happening. I don't know. I see that they're constructing the memorial there down at the, just in front of the Treasury building. I don't know what they took into account. And so we don't know what the finished product will be. But I hope it will be something that we can all appreciate and, have a long-term effect. But thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Bye.
That spot is, as I can, my mind's eye, that the pier that we used to go to Nevis came out from that spot, actually, here in St. Kitts. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Tony.
Hey, good morning.
Brother Tony, I just want to say that I believe with the Christina disaster, I was a little small boy at the time. And I see the plane when talking up and down on the water. All in time we couldn't go in town. We just watching the plane and watch the lights and and all them things, so what I experienced with that, so much people die. They had a mass group down here in St. Kitts. I believe that they should have kept and to remember the younger ones were coming up and go to the mass grave every August Monday when they come and visit the ancestors then. Visit that grave, them grave. Because, Brother Tony, I believe it's time enough now that some monument was supposed to be put. I know I know this. But some monument was supposed to be put. That the younger one we could have come and recognized the going on and we went on in the past. Because we go from sympathy to news daily now. Daily, every day you go from sympathy to news. You like going from sympathy to news now, you like a passenger bus going across, only because you got to sleep on a boat. You understand? And nobody told me, when you look at Emancipation and all those things, we got to recognize them there. But when I was in a conversation with a good friend the other day, and he told me that black people will never be there. We want to be black. And he said, he said, we're going to get black people control and get black people together. If you keep black people in slavery all the time. Oh, he said, we're going to get them control and get them to acknowledge that they're black and we are brothers and sisters. And I believe you're right. Because look at what you're trying to do with the black man. When a black man get up there, he gets in position, he forget you went to school with, he forget where you was, he forget you to come where you won't eat, and all those things. So I believe that gentleman was so right. He said that he only saw we black people and beat and love and be together with one another. Exist in slavery. Only slavery can keep us together. According to Tony.
All right. Thank you. Let's go take another call in here. Good morning.
Hello, speak to Mr. Nice.
Yes, good morning.
Mr. Nice, you're on?
You're on. You're live. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Nice, this is Sonny Boy calling back from New York. I hear Rock on the phone.
Yes.
When I was young, me and Rock used to go on top of the Christina when they leaving going to Nevis. And we used to wait till Christina get out where the ship's anchor. And we used to jump off of Christina and swim back to the shore. I was one of the best swimmer St. Kitts ever had. If you think of line, ask Stanley Franks. Every Easter Monday, we used to have a swimming competition in St. Kitts. And I used to come from St. Thomas, near Rock. We go up to St. Kitts on Easter. And I used to win all them races. Ask my sister Dumpling. I had trophies in my mom's house. I beat everybody from Newtown, Irishtown, Sandy Point.
So you were better than Rock.
And one other thing I need to mention. You saying something, Mr. Nice?
Go ahead.
One other thing I need to mention. We used to swim from Newtown all the way to Irishtown, Rock, when we were young. We was the best breed of swimmers St. Kitts ever had. We was good enough that we could have take part in the Olympics. So when these kids get on there talking about St. Kitts and St. Kitts this, I'm telling you what we achieved as young boys when we was 10, 12 years old. We was tremendous swimmers. We from down Irishtown, where they call the gut. So tell all them young kids, look at their history and see how great the people from Westbourne Gut and Saltburn Alley was. Thank you, Mr. Nice, and happy Emancipation Day.
All right. Let's see if we got one more call we can take in here before we go. Caller, you're live. Final.
Yeah, Mr. Nice again. Quick. It's interesting to listen to what the caller earlier said about Bratcher. And I think, Robbie, we need to check facts, you see, because some people is okay to throw out certain things. Now, let's say that had happened. I don't know. Okay? This caller who called old enough, because he knows what went on and know what went on in this country. How come Simmons, or he didn't tell Simmons to investigate it? How we never heard about it within the 15 years of Pam? I find some of us are just throw stuff. Mind, I'm not saying it's not true. It could be true, I'm just saying though. When you tell me almost 30, 40 years later, he's saying this, when he was big up in Pam, tight up in Pam, then all what happened in 1967, the whole 9 yards. So he just showed this. What about 1967? Because that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff we need to investigate, Robbie. And if it's true, then I don't know. But Simmons was in for 15 years. So why he didn't come up then within Simmons? Now we hear new side of Bratcher. First was pepper in the rice and bone in the soup with Nevis. Now we come with this with the Christina. I mean, really, let us really wear ourselves. Let us really, and the lady made the point a while ago to you. People making some Bratcher have done nothing. Listen to the guy in America. Bratcher have done nothing in this country. Absolutely nothing, Mr. Myers. Who come up with social, as the lady saying? We gotta come back to this.
I gotta go. Sorry.
But in America, we support America with everything. You have a lovely day, Mr. Knight.
Yes. And that's going to do it for us today and for this week here on Frank and Candid. It is Emancipation Day on Sunday. Forget this August Monday, which they always want us to say, but it's Emancipation Day. And remember the Christina disaster. Have a great weekend. We will be back on Wednesday. Seems like a long way off, ain't it? Have a good one. Make it safe. Enjoy yourself. I'm Tony Nice. See you on Wednesday.
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gonna be safe. Everybody gonna be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll up, yeah. 'Cause no man's alone. Do what's right.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.